So welcome everybody. Again, my name's Joe O'Brien. I'm the project manager here at Civicor, the platform provider for the Amazing Raise this year. Thank you for joining us here on this webinar. Today we're going to be talking about how to register your organization for the Amazing Raise for participation in the Gives Day, as well as taking a look at the process of filling out your profile. So some of this won't become immediately necessary for you right away. It'll be a little while before you're able to go in and actually edit your profile and create it and take a look at what it looks like on the live site to the public. But we're rolling the registration and the content management piece together so that you have access to that whenever you need it. So again, we will post this on the live site under a training area of the site when the live site goes live. And we'll also share a link with anyone who needs it. So today we're going to be, first we're going to go over here the inquiry for inclusion in the Amazing Raise. So using this URL here, givetcn.civicor.com/inquiry, you can access this form. This is the inquiry form that allows you to participate or inquire for your participation into the day. And so we're going to go over kind of step by step how to fill that profile out and then what to expect. So first name, last name, email address, phone number, and extension. These are the primary pieces of contact that Tri-County will use to reach out to you to ask more questions about your organization and your interest in participating if they need. So this is really the point of contact and important information. It's also the email address is the email that's going to receive confirmation emails about registration, about when your organization has been approved, and anything like that, status updates on the process. Moving down to the organization name here, this is the public-facing name of your organization, as well as your physical address and tax identification number, and then the category which best describes your organization's mission. These are important pieces to fill out for verification purposes for Tri-County so that they can verify tax ID numbers, that all of those pieces are properly filled out so that they can make sure that all the organizations participating are legitimate and available. One piece I forgot to mention, I'd mentioned this on the a little bit earlier, but for anybody joining just now, there's a Q&A feature. So if at any point along the road you have a question, please use that Q&A feature. So everyone except Holly and myself are muted. But if you have a question that you'd like to get answered here today, please don't hesitate to use that Q&A feature, and then myself or Holly will try to answer that question for you as soon as we're able to get to it. So yeah, feel free to use that. Moving on down the form here, just a few simple fields, organizational details. So your personal website, if you have a website for your organization, if you have a Facebook or Twitter account, feel free to add those in here. And then make sure to fill out your operating budget. So this operating budget is the budget of your entire organization for the fiscal year, so your annual budget. It's not a budget for a particular program. So some nonprofits will often like to join a Gives Day for the specific purpose of promoting a program that they're working on, and that's encouraged, and that's fantastic that you would want to kind of raise money for a specific program or for a specific cause within your organization. But this operating budget piece is specifically asking the size of your organization as a whole, because a lot of times it's can indicate different levels of kind of prizes or other incentives that may happen during the Gives Day, and it's important for Tri-County to be able to know what that budget is to kind of be able to understand who's participating. There's a piece here for how you heard about the GiveStay, and then indicating that you're a current TCN member, yes or no. I believe, and Holly, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, that in order to participate in the Amazing Raise this year, you have to be a current TCN member, which I'm sure Holly would be happy to answer any questions about if folks have questions about how to become a member, or what the process is, or any of those details.
That is correct.
Great. And then finally, just a couple of acknowledgement disclaimer pieces to check off here at the end. There's a terms and liability, which you're more than welcome to read through. But once you have filled this form out, you will submit this form. And you will be taken to a confirmation page that basically just says, thank you for your interest. We'll be reaching out shortly. And then you should receive to that email address that you filled out. So the primary contact email address, you'll receive an email that looks something like this. It says, congratulations on registering. We've received your submission, and we're gonna reach out to you once we've validated that information, or if we have any follow-up questions. This is really all you will receive in the short term until the site is really live. So if you've submitted a registration already, or you're submitting one in the next few days, you can expect it will take a little bit of time for a confirmation on your registration, because we're still actively working on building out the site and confirming a lot of details in the background. And so at the point at which the site is in a more finished form, we'll start approving registrations, and you'll move on to the next step. So once you are approved, once your organization is approved, you'll receive to that same email address a second email that looks something like this, that'll say your organization has been approved to participate. Click on this link to start creating your profile. So it's important to note that this link can only be clicked once. Or copied and pasted. It can only be used once because it is a unique authenticator that prompts you to put in a password in order to create an account. So it's using the information off of this primary contact information, and then prompting you to set up a password for your account. So making sure that you're clicking this once, and then once you've clicked it, you're not going to be able to use that again to log in to the site. So important to, once you've clicked on that and you've gotten into the site, bookmark that link, because that's the way that you'll be able to access it. We do see a lot of folks try to continually re-click on this as their main access point to get to the back end of the system, and it just is not gonna work for that purpose. So once you do that, when you click on that, it will basically take you to this dashboard right here. It will prompt you to put in a password. There will be a little box that prompts you to put in a password, and once you do that, you'll land right here. Right here on the dashboard when you come in, this is your administrative portal as a nonprofit. So this is where you're going to come to manage your content, manage all the information about your organization, check up on donations and donor information, as well as look for resources that Tri-County may provide as far as training materials, marketing or advertising materials for the day of, any of those other kind of resources that might be helpful in promoting or supporting you on the day. So there are a few instructions here when you first land that tell you how to kind of get into your organization profile, view your donation information, and change contact information. So we're going to be talking about those things today. So moving into the organizations area, when you click on this, it's going to take you to your organization profile. So this is the landing page for where you're going to modify all the content about your organization. There are some instructions here on how to edit content how to manage different pieces. And we're going to go through this process of going through each of these areas, adding content and taking a look at the specifics of each of those pieces of content that you can add. And then we'll take a quick look, a preview of the front end and where those things live and what it's going to look like to the general public. And again, just to preface, we haven't actually built out the front end of the site with the kind of themes, the colors, and the those kind of pieces, some of those details, content pieces. So that's all pending, but we will be able to take a look at generally the layout and what a profile is going to look like. So to edit your profile when you first come in, you're going to want to come down here to Edit Organization Profile, this little blue button down here. When you hit that Edit Organization Profile, all of the information from your initial inquiry is going to be pulled over from that inquiry into your organization profile here. You're going to need to add some additional pieces of information when you come in here to edit this profile, but it should pull over a lot of that information. So the logo is something that you'll need to add, so your organization's logo is required. A URL link, something specific about this, or a few pieces to understand about this URL link. This is going to be a specific link for your organization on the actual site. So this is going to say, right now it says giving.civicor.com, but this is going to say HTTPS theamazingrays.org. And it'll have this little backslash, and then you'll be able to put what you want here. So this is not a place to put your website. So if you have a, you're a nonprofit and your website is, www.caringkids.org. You're not going to put that in here. You're going to put in a unique identifier for you on the site so that you can share that link with everybody to say theamazingrays.org/ this is Cats on Parade is my test organization here. And so that's just going to allow you to easily share that link so that your donors and the general public, when you're promoting the event, they can go directly to your profile page on the website rather than going to the main website and then having to search through the organization. So it's just a way to have a little bit more kind of control and a unique unique tag for your organization that you can share with your donor network. Again, you're going to be able to change these pieces if you need to, operating budget or the category of your organization. And you're also going to be able to indicate whether or not you have matching funds. So if you as an organization have matching funds specifically for your organization, say you have a donor that says, I'll match up to $1,000 that you raise on the day. You can indicate that here by saying, yes, I do have matching funds, and indicating that amount. And then that will display on the front end of the website during the actual Gives Day. It'll actually display as a match pool that will dynamically interact with the donations that you have throughout the day. So this number will show up as a running tally to say you have $1,000 at the beginning of the day as a match pool, and as donors donate, say someone donates $100, this will go down to say, you have $900 left on your matching pool, and it will kind of dynamically interact with whatever number you put in here. So just another way to kind of entice and encourage donors to donate on the day and to support your organization if you do have a matching fund amount there. And we will go over, just so everyone knows, if there are any questions about matching funds or donations or how we're going to be able to look at donor information. That is likely going to be a future webinar as we get closer to the actual day, talking about what's the site going to look like on the actual Gives Day, what are the features that are going to be available, how are distribution and funding and these matching pieces and the kind of donations and money side of things will likely be a separate webinar as we get closer to the day and really can dive into those details. So moving on down here for your profile page, contact information is public-facing information. So separate from that initial registration information of that primary contact person, this is what you want the public to see on the website. So if you have, an info at for your organization, where general inquiries or donors can reach out to contact you, or you have an office phone number that you want donors to call you on. This is where you can put that information in for donors to be able to see that. You also have the option to put a physical address as well as a mailing address if they're separate things, and then decide which one is going to be listed publicly. So one of the two addresses will be listed to the public, and you can determine which one you want that to be here by making that selection. Again, if you had put in website, Twitter, or Facebook links on your inquiry, those would be defaulted in here, but you can add them in later. And then a really important piece is your mission statement. So this piece is going to be on the search page for all the organizations. For your organization, it's going to show the logo of your organization, it's going to show the name of your organization, and it's also going to show your mission statement, or at least a snippet of your mission statement there. So it's really important that you have a very clear and concise mission statement that talks about what your organization does and the impact that it has, so that donors can easily find it. This is also something that our search option triggers off of. So keywords that donors may type in to search for your organization, it's going to look through the name of the organization as well as the language in the mission statement to find those keywords and relate them for donors when they're searching. So mission statement's a very important area to fill out. More about us and testimonials are additional opportunities for you to describe more about your organization. So there's a max character count here on the mission statement of 500, just to keep it short and concise, as it displays in a few different places on the site. More about us lets you continue to describe if you have more information that you want donors or the public to know about your organization or be able to read about your organization. A good tip for all nonprofits who are participating is, fill out as much information as you can. Be as professional as possible in the way that you put together these pieces, because not only is the Gives Day an opportunity for you to raise money for your cause, it's also an opportunity for the general public to learn more about your organization. So there are going to be folks who are coming on the site who are maybe, they have one organization that they know they want to donate to, but when they search for that organization, they see your organization right next to it that also is in the same area. And if you have a really well laid out, public-facing profile, that's an opportunity for that donor, that member of the public, to learn more about what it is that you do and what value you provide to the community. Testimonials are an opportunity for you to basically put testimonials. So quotes from donors or volunteers or people in the public, board members, about the efficacy of your organization and how much they love the work that you do. So once you get done filling out these pieces, you're going to submit that. And it's going to save and update that information. That'll all live here so you can view it at a glance to make sure that everything is filled out and looking the way that it should. And then you are going to move on from there. There are a number of other pieces of content that you can customize to whatever degree that you really like to. So some folks like to dive into really deep detail about their organization. Some like to do a little bit less. Both are perfectly fine, but we're going to go into each one of the tabs up here, which give you additional opportunity to customize pieces of your profile. So just moving along here to the right, donation information is something that you're not going to see much of anything happening in here for a while, because this is where you're going to eventually see all of the donations from donors that you've received throughout the Gives Day. This is your main portal to be able to kind of see, okay, what donations are coming in. You're going to get the contact information for that individual unless they decide to be anonymous. So donors have the opportunity to donate anonymously to any organization in the system. If they do donate anonymously, you'll see this anonymous as a yes. And the only fields that you'll be able to take a look at are the transaction date and time and the amount that was donated. You won't see any of this contact information. But for all the other donors that don't donate anonymously, you'll be able to see this information. You can export this into an Excel file, and then from there, it's your donor information. You can reach out to thank those donors personally, or add it to your list of donors or for your organization. There are a few other tabs here: recurring donations and scheduled donations for GivesDay. This is something that we're going to dive into, like I had mentioned earlier, a little bit farther on down the line as far as how these things will work in detail, but just to very briefly touch on them. Recurring donations are donations that donors want to make on a regular basis. So donors have the ability, when the site moves into a year-round giving platform, donors will have the ability to set up a recurring donation to say, I want to give, $20 a month, let's say, or I want to give $10 a week. And the donor can indicate the kind of how regularly they want to give that donation, and for how long they want to give that donation. So they have the flexibility to say, I want, for the next year, I want to donate $20 a month. And then after that, it'll close. So you'll be able to come in here and see those recurring donations, which is helpful when you're in a year-round system to see, oh, we've got, $1,000 it's going to come in this month from recurring donations. And so you'll be able to see a little bit more about that. And then scheduled donations for GivesDay is basically where you'll be able to see donations that donors have scheduled to be donated on GivesDay. So normally, sometime between 2 and 6 weeks before the actual GivesDay, the site will open up to pre-schedule a donation. So sometimes donors are out of the country or on a business trip on the actual GivesDay, or for whatever reason, maybe they're out hiking or visiting family, and for whatever reason they can't donate on the actual day of the event. So we want to be able to give those donors an opportunity to donate. So we open up the ability for them to pre-schedule a donation, which says, I'm going to donate, let's say, $100. And that will basically save their payment information, save all of the details about their donation, and then on the actual GivesDay in October, that donation will be processed on that day. So this tab just allows you to take a look at any donations that have been scheduled, so you can kind of anticipate those scheduled donations for the GivesDay, so you can know kind of what you should expect as far as money in the bank, as it were. The rest of these tabs are really specifically talking about content management on the front end. So donation levels is basically a feature which allows you to customize buttons that donors can choose. These are predetermined amounts that donors can choose to donate. So when they are checking out and they are deciding how much they want to donate to your organization, they'll have a box that they can enter any amount that they want. So just a blank amount box. But if you want, you can add up to we recommend around 5 of these, no more than 5, because it begins to you can do more than that, but the layout begins to get a little bit cluttered when you go beyond about 5 of these. So we recommend between 4 and 5 donation levels. But these are basically customized buttons that you can create, where you can say, $10. If you want to donate $10, that'll pay for a cat collar for my Cats on Parade nonprofit here. If you want to donate $25, that's a leash for one of our cats for the parade. And you can kind of go in and specify those. You do that by hitting this Add a Donation Level button over here, which will pull up this form. So you put in the amount. I want to say, $500, and $500 pays for a cat therapist for after the parade, because cats have a hard time with parades and marching in an organized fashion. So we want to make sure that we support those cats after the event so they can decompress. So this allows you to kind of set those donation levels. And again, all of these pieces that we're talking about right now, we'll take a look at on the front end once we go through this, so you can kind of tie those two pieces together. You can decide if you want to hide or show. So let's say you had 6 or 7 or 8 of these that you wanted to put on here, but then you determined later on, well, we really only want to have 4 of these here. You can hide them, which will allow you to basically keep them from view, but you can reactivate them later on so that you don't have to kind of delete them and then come back and add them again. Programs allow you to go into even more depth about your organization. So maybe your organization works doing a lot of different things. You know, you're kind of an umbrella organization that works on a few different niches or a few different areas that are important to your organization. This allows you to go into specific programs. So, for example, I used to work for a trail building organization here in Colorado, and it was an organization that put together big events, but it also had specific programs within it. So it had a youth program where youth could get mentored on while they're in high school on kind of trail building and environmental ethics and outdoorism and volunteerism. And you might want to highlight that program as something a little bit different and separate from the main mission or goal of your program. So you can do that by, again, saying add new program. This will bring up a number of fields, a form that you can fill out to talk in more detail about that program. It allows you to choose beneficiaries for that program, describe the program, talk about long-term successes, short-term successes, basic information about that program. You'd submit it when you're ready to display that, and you'd see your programs listed here that you have. You can add as many programs as you like. Again, we kind of recommend somewhere between 3 to 5 as a maximum on programs, just so you don't have donor fatigue in just huge amounts of information. But this is flexible in how much you want to go in here and how many programs you want to add. Just like the donation levels, you can make this program inactive, which will hide it from view. So you'll notice that this dropped off the list when I made it inactive. So this brings up another feature of our system of a lot of the different areas, which is the search feature up here. So you'll see different search sections that you can, different things that you can use to search on if you have maybe 5 or 6 programs. And this one actually has an active yes, no box here. So you can see that it was defaulted to yes, so it's only showing the programs that you have active so that you don't clutter up the dashboard. If, let's say, you've been doing the GiveStay for 5 years now and you've put 15 programs on here, this allows you to just see the ones that are currently active while the rest are archived. So you can, for this particular one, you can say no and see all the programs that are inactive. And I can make it active again, or I can just go to this kind of neutral select here, and it would show me everything. So just something to be aware of. If you click a button and something disappears, it's probably because a search filter is set to only show you active and live things, but something to definitely bring up. Events are an opportunity for you to promote a specific event that you're having. So maybe you're having a gala, an end of the year gala for your donors, or maybe you're having, a cookout or a community gathering that you want to be able to promote. Events allows you to do that. It gives you kind of the name, the date, the start and end time, as well as the description and location of the event, which you can use to generally broadly publicize that event for donors and for the public. Multimedia is a very important area of the site, something that I very much encourage everyone to take advantage of. Multimedia is an area where you can upload photos as well as YouTube videos about your organization. These photos and videos will scroll horizontally across your main profile page. So when a donor lands on your main profile page, they'll see these photos and any YouTube videos that you have. They'll see those regularly kind of cycle through and scroll through. So it'll just loop on whatever photos and video that you have in here. There's not a limit that I know of here, but someone may be able to test it out and let me know if you do come up with a limit. You can add a photo or video using the Add Multimedia Entry button. Use a title to describe it. This is only an internal title, so this is not something that shows up on the front end of the site, but something for you to be able to keep track of what this photo is or what it's describing. Then you select the type of picture or YouTube. If you select picture, a photo option drops down for you to upload a file. And if you select YouTube, you would copy and paste the URL link to that specific YouTube video into this area. So we only, one thing to note is that right now we only support YouTube videos as far as types of videos. So Vimeo and any other video hosting service is not going to work in here. YouTube is really the only one that will embed and work with this scroller. And then finally, campaigns is the last piece here really for you to take a look at as far as customization. So campaigns as a concept are basically donor-driven fundraising, so social media fundraising for you. So this allows you to get 1 or 2 or maybe 3 really passionate volunteers or donors for your organization, maybe a board member. Oftentimes I'll see board members start a campaign. And these allow donors or people who are passionate about your organization to fundraise on behalf of your organization. So put a little bit more of a personal touch on your campaign and your appeal for the general public, and something that donor can then take and share with their friends and family on social media, on Facebook and Twitter and everything else. They'll be able to say, hey, I really love this organization because of X, Y, and Z, and I'm trying to raise $500 for this organization. Won't you help me out? So this is something, again, that we'll dive into in deeper detail later on. It's kind of a separate process from building out your profile, but it is something that you have available to you to encourage. We usually recommend around 2 or 3. People that you really feel are going to promote your organization in the best manner possible. And who are likely to reach their goals. So it doesn't reflect particularly well on you as an organization if you have 35 campaigns and none of them have really gotten any donations, versus 1 or 2 campaigns that are able to really knock their goal out of the park and be successful. So when it comes to campaigns, a donor would create a campaign, and then you would have to come in here. You would get an email that says a donor has created a campaign on your behalf. Go into the campaigns area here and approve them as an organization or as a campaign. So you would come in here and there would be the ability to view the campaign. So all the details about that campaign, who's putting it on, what's the photo, what's their appeal, how much are they trying to raise, all of those details. And then approve or deny that campaign based on those details. And you may want to reach out to that donor and talk with them specifically if you haven't prompted them to do so. But you'll see those active campaigns in here. Resources, again, is an area where you can take a look at resources, so keep an eye out for that. One other thing here on the administrative side before we take a look at the front end. So once you've filled out your profile, you've gone through, you've filled out this content information, maybe you've put some donation levels, you've put a program, some multimedia, and you feel like your profile is in a good place. You can then submit your profile for approval. So right now, your profile is not live on the site. It doesn't show up anywhere on the live site to the public, but you will basically come down here to your profile status. It'll show you that it's unapproved currently, and you'll submit that for approval. Once you submit your organization profile for approval, it'll say awaiting review. And then it'll be up to the folks at Tri-County to review your profile, just take a quick glance at it and make sure that everything is fair and representative of your organization. More than anything, it's really just a quick spot check to make sure that there's no incorrect information or inappropriate information to display to the general public. So once that's done, your organization will get approved. And once your organization is approved, you'll get a follow-up email, a confirmation email that says your organization has been approved, and you'll be able to see it on the live site. That doesn't mean that you can't come in and make changes to your profile. It just means that your site is, your profile here, as you filled it out, is live to the public for everyone to see. And at that point, you can start using that unique link to promote your organization to the general public. Final thing here is if you need to, you can add additional users who have the ability to come in and access your profile and make changes. So maybe you have 2 or 3 people who want to be able to come in here and make changes, or you have someone who registers right now and then they're a seasonal employee, or they move on to a different position. You want someone else to be able to come in here. You can add additional users here for this organization. You're basically creating a profile for them. So you give a first and last name. The email address is the unique login piece. So you'd use your email and password to log in. So you give this person, the email that they want to log in, and then some kind of a password which you can communicate to them, and then they'll want to change their password for their own purposes once they log in to the site. But this will allow them to show up as an additional user. And then they'll show up on your list. They'll show up here on your list. And you'll be able to select whether or not people want to receive donation letters. So Jane can't actually do anything yet because Jane needs to log into the system in order to be able to be active and have a say in what's going on for your organization. But you will be able to choose who receives donation letters. So every time your organization receives a donation on Gives Day, excuse me, you'll be able to, whoever is indicated as receiving donations letters, whoever has this yes here, will get an email that says, congratulations, you got a donation for this amount from this donor. If you only want one person to receive those emails, you can make that decision here, don't receive donation letters, and they'll no longer receive that email. So now we're going to take a look at the front end of the site. So if you give me just a moment so I can do that, I need to approve the organization so that they show up on the site. Just so that everyone knows, this nonprofit login here, this is where you would come to log in for your organization. So this would be the process that the foundation would take to approve the organization. You would receive a confirmation email saying, you've been approved. And then at that point, let me see if I can pull up the organization. So again, we're going to ignore the color schemes and any of those pieces. You might see some blanket text here, but generally, I've searched here for that organization, and here they are. So donors will be able to come in here. As you can see there on the other page, this is your mission statement right here. So again, like I said, your photo, the name of your organization, and then your mission statement will be here. If a donor clicks on it, they'll see your organization's logo, the mission statement for your organization. On the Gives Day, they'll be able to donate. Before the Gives Day, this Donate Now button won't be there because donors won't be able to donate, but they will be able to come and take a look at your profile. So again, this is the multimedia piece. So this is that sliding, those photos and YouTube videos that you upload, they're going to scroll across like this. Your address and contact information from your profile will exist down here. More about us and testimonials. Remember those pieces that we had there for our organization, just to reference. So our mission statement, more about us, testimonials, those pieces that you filled out on your original profile, those will show up here where donors can click on those boxes to see more about your organization. Programs will show up right here. So if you have multiple programs, they'll show up in a list here, and donors will be able to click on it to learn more about that particular program, what the budget is, the name of the program, etc. Events will be listed in a similar fashion here. So details about an event you might want folks to come to. And then if we are in, if we're on the actual Gives Day, you will be able to, we'll take a quick look here. You'll have a donation scroller. So you'll be able to see how much money you're raising in real time on your organization's profile. And then a donor will be able to come in, and here are those donation buttons. So here's that $10 for a cat collar, a leash, etc. Or a donor can opt to choose another amount. So if they choose one of these, that piece goes away, and they're going to say, I'm going to donate $50. That just makes it easy for a donor to come in and say, okay, I want to put $50 today. And then there will be a few questions down here for them to answer as far as whether or not they want to cover processing fees, or whether or not they want their donation to be anonymous, or if they're a first-time donor. But those are generally the pieces of content that you'll be able to take a look at. So donation levels there, those buttons, programs, events, or those two tabs, multimedia being the scrolling on your organization's profile page there. And then campaigns will exist if you do have campaigns on this right side here along this bar. You would see in this area information about that particular campaign. So I will wait a little bit for any questions that folks might have. Please feel free to use that Q&A feature to ask any questions that you might have, anything that's unclear right off the bat here about how to modify content, register for the day, what to expect as far as that's concerned. Holly, I don't know if you have anything else that you'd like to add.
I do not.
Okay. Well, if you do have any questions, you come across something as you're filling out your registration, your inquiry for participation, or once you get in to actually start modifying your content here for your profile, feel free to send Holly an email. And if it's something that she can't answer, I will be sure to answer it for you and help you out. So I think with that, if there aren't any questions, we're going to leave it at that. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Looking forward to all of you submitting your registrations and getting your profiles built out and having a really successful Gives Day this coming October. Thank you all.